From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Air India says a flight bound for London, England crashed 5 minutes after taking off today from northwestern India's Ahmedabad airport, carrying 242 passengers and crew. A Canadian was among those on board. Flight AI 171 crashed into a residential area near the airport in the city of 5 million. Ahmedabad City Police Commissioner says there appears to be no survivors, and they expect casualties on the ground as well. ABC's James Longman has more.
This looks like an enormous tragedy, likely one of the worst aviation disasters in Indian history. You can see the plane in videos that are online slowly descending before briefly disappearing behind some buildings, and then moments later you see a massive fireball erupting into the sky.
Air India says the Boeing 787 was bound for London Gatwick Airport and was carrying Indians, Britons, 7 Portuguese and 1 Canadian. As Prime Minister Mark Carney prepares to host fellow G7 leaders at their annual summit in Kananaskis, Alberta early next week, experts argue that Canada can also use the gathering to build a functional relationship with India on trade, clean energy, and dealing with China. Canadian-Indian relations have soured since the RCMP said evidence linked Indian government agents to the 2023 murder of a BC Sikh separatism activist. Thousands of wildfire evacuees have the green light now to return to their homes this morning in the northern Saskatchewan town of La Ronge. A new study shows 15% of Canadian mothers who gave birth in 2022 or 23 were dismissed, laid off, or had contracts not renewed during pregnancy or mat leave. The report comes from advocacy group Moms at Work. Founder Alison Venditti says the research reflects that many companies see moms as distracted or less committed.
I'll be blunt in that they're easy targets. They haven't been there for a year. People, like out of sight, out of mind, and they're an easy thing to cut.
Venditti also believes mothers are losing their jobs during leave because companies bet they won't take legal action. And reaction is pouring in from around the world to news yesterday of the death of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys at age 82. Canadian music legends have weighed in too. I'm lying in bed, just like Brian Wilson did. And former Bare Naked Ladies singer Stephen Page, who at 19 years old wrote an ode to the legend and called the song Brian Wilson, recalled the moment he found himself in a Toronto concert audience in the summer of 2000 and hearing Wilson open the show with his 1992 hit.
Every musician in Toronto was sitting, around us, and they all kind of turned their head to look at me, and I thought, do I stand up and wave, or do I hide, or what do I do? Absolute dream come true.
Page later joined Wilson and Paul Simon on stage to sing Wilson's Love and Mercy and the Beach Boys' Fun, Fun, Fun as part of the show's encore. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, it's game day again in the Stanley Cup Final. The Edmonton Oilers need to dig deep if they want to come back home this weekend, all squared up with the defending champion Florida Panthers. The Oilers were thumped 6-1 in Monday's Game 3. The loss left Edmonton down 2-1 in their NHL Title Series rematch. Game 4 goes tonight, again in Sunrise, Florida. The NHL's MVP honor will be handed out tonight ahead of Game 4. Oilers star Leon Draisaitl, Jets goalie Connor Hellebuyck, and Lightning right winger Nikita Kucherov are all finalists for the Hart Trophy. The Vezina Trophy, awarded to the league's top goaltender, will also be presented tonight. The Indiana Pacers are back on top in the NBA Finals. Montreal's Benedict Mathurin scored a game-high 27 points off the bench as Indiana downed the Oklahoma City Thunder in last night's Game 3. And a quartet of Canadians will tee off outside Pittsburgh today as the U.S. Open gets underway. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.